Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
What's good, family? Shout out to the boss man, Dougie Fresh, for staying loyal with your man the YB coin and boosting it up. So we just saw there your man's Bumillion Shite breaking his silence on the recent call-outs. Now, I believe is it Joe Joyce? Either way, the main one really is Dubois. Dubois just ended up smoking Brian Bum having asked dude waste my coin, yeah? I've been watching certain channels, like I said the other day, shout out to the boss man, BWTM Sports Ingram's channel. He had Deep Hardcore channel, anyway, two dudes. He had Trevor Bryan's trainer on, who's a well-known old school trainer, Stacey McKinley. Yeah, McKinley's one of the top old school cats. Anyway, two dudes. He gassed me up. Yeah, he was talking about my man would murk AJ, and listen, as bad as we know how bad AJ is, Trevor Bumman ain't doing nothing with AJ. I'd love to sit here and lie to people, but he ain't gonna do a thing. You big useless soft dude. Sick of these big. Anyway, I've digressed. Let's get back to the point. End of the day, Daniel Dubois smoked Trevor Bumman's pack. And after that, him and his trainer, Shane McGuigan, started feeling themselves getting gassed. Yeah, we want Dillian, we want this guy, we want that guy. And listen, in fact, before I go on and say what I want to say, at the start of my video, I included Dillian's response, a leaked response. Most people ain't seen this one. Dillian said, I've been hearing people mentioning my name. Yeah? And actually, in the last... I might do another video, but essentially, Dillian also just came out and said he wants to come back. Yeah? Not only that, as I said, he said it's interesting. It's interesting that people are mentioning his name. It's interesting Daniel Dubois mentioned his name. Now, obviously, he didn't tag Dubois' name. He's not necessarily going to, but listen, I'll be shocked. If Dillian White accepts, well, tell I. We know Bumillion loves money. So, if Frank Warren's a strategic man. I remember when Frank Warren was prepared to pay Dave Allen, like, 500 grand or 400 grand to fight Dubois. Now, obviously, 300 grand ain't the same as these big amounts, like Dillian White's going to be wanting multiple millions, but still, Daniel Dubois is at a different stage in his career now. Yeah? Back when the Dave Allen offer was put out, Dubois was a nobody, and no one knew Dubois in that sense. That would have been a great scout. Well, Dave Allen's useless, but I'm saying, in terms of the clout, at that point in time, Dave Allen's name was ringing. The point is, we know Dave Allen weren't worth 400 grand, but again, Frank Warren knows how to invest in his athletes. He knows, listen, if Dubois can smoke Bumillion Shite's pack, that's a huge name and huge clout. We know Dillian White, much like AJ, is the UK pay-per-view. Listen, Dillian White and AJ are the UK pay-per-view market. They've got the market cucked. Facts. No one knows how to sell it, and it's not a good thing either. Let's be real now. Dillian White and Anthony Johnston have together extracted the most value for really not doing a lot. Dillian White sold pay-per-view after pay-per-view, and he can't even win a world title as such. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't win a world title either. The difference is, I'm not making millions. For doing what's Dillian really done to earn them millions? Who's he beat? We don't know. We don't know. That's the answer to that question. So, like I said, Frank Warren's not stupid. He knows that yes, Dillian's useless in the ring, but he comes with a lot of clout, and that clout, Team Dubois are licking their chops for. Now, like I said, Frank Warren might come in hot and say, "Listen, because I'm not being funny. Dillian White versus Dubois, is that a Wembley fight? Probably not, but it's definitely maxes out the O2. Yeah, the O2. I'm not sure how much the gate normally brings at the O2, but that would be a pretty big show, wouldn't it? Especially now for the whole fake World Championship WBA belt, so who knows? I won't be shocked at all to see Frank Warren really put a big offer in. And like I said, right now, Dillian White most likely, in my opinion, is going to hang around and beg for the AJ fight. But then again, he won't be begging because AJ got nowhere to go either. If AJ gets his pack smoked by Usyk, Dillian White and AJ are going to be a match made in heaven, because that is the trilogy: AJ versus Dillian White, 3 essentially. And that would be I hate to say it, but it's a big fight. I don't know why it's a big fight, to be honest. Yeah, because AJ going to come in there and fanny around. Dillian White has just proven. I mean, let's get real here, people. If Dillian White was prepared to get stuck in, why didn't he do so against Fury? That's the question. I don't understand that. If people say, why be, but it'll be a war. Well, if anything was going to be a war, why didn't Dillian make the Fury fight a war in front of 80,000 fans? Oops. So I think AJ versus Dillian won't be a war. It will be some weird boxy thing again, like they've been doing. Dillian's been doing that. When was the last time Dillian really got stuck in? We don't know. Yeah? Anyway, the Dubois fight. Like I said, I expect Frank Warren to put a big offer in, and rightfully so. I'd love to see Daniel Dubois, apart from the fact I'm bitter that Dillian's getting paid. I don't believe he should be getting paid, but apart from that, I'd love nothing more than to see Daniel Dubois. Listen, Daniel Dubois will smoke Bamilion's pack. And I don't even rate Dubois, but Dillian's got no chin left. His whiskers are shot to bits. Yeah, that's just what it is. Shot to bits. Shot to bit whiskers. Then again, though, that's a fair point. Dubois, he's stiff, and that's the thing, though. To beat Dubois, you need to be able to take a shot, Joe Joyce. Yeah, if you can't take a shot, I mean, what you can do? We know Dubois is going to kind of skip in and out and then leap in with a big 1-2. Big stiff 1-2. Now, that's the thing, we haven't actually seen Dubois under pressure. So maybe if Dillian is known, allegedly, to have a counter left hook. If Dillian White can survive long enough, because what I've noticed Dillian White likes to do, he likes to shut his eyes, close his eyes, look at the floor, and just go like this. And then when you've got your shots off, he'll wing a hair trigger left hook. That's what he likes to do. So if Dillian can put his head in the sand and put his hands up and Dubois' sloppy accuracy misses, and then Dillian can get the left hook off, maybe he's got a chance. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure Dubois doesn't just drill right through Dillian's leaky defense. And I understand that Dubois doesn't have the he's not loose enough really to throw uppercuts. I've never seen him throw an uppercut. So that is obviously kryptonite for Dillian. But still, who's to say? I can see Dubois drilling a right hand right through Dillian's bonds. I can see Dubois just laying it on him. And yeah, the research or the evidence shows that Dillian's susceptible to uppercuts, but I think he can go out from any shot that touches him properly. That's what I think. Uppercut's ideal, but it's not as if we've seen Dillian take a whole load of other shots, to be honest with you. It just so happens the main one people have landed is the uppercut. And then again, to be quite frank, as much as, yeah, Shane McGuigan isn't as... I don't rate Shane McGuigan as much as I used to, but he's still one of the best trainers out there. And that's relevant because, guess what? One of the best trainers out there is certainly going to train Dubois for the uppercut, you'd have thought, but who knows? It's 2022. For all we know, we'll probably see Dubois go in there and not throw the obvious shot the whole night, because that's what 2022 coaching is about. Yeah? Take a solid game. I mean, look at Trevor Bryan's a perfect example. Trevor Bumman. I mean, what was his game plan? Go in there and just look soft and put your whiskers in the air. Big useless dude. And the thing is, all that woofing he did as well. Oh, I'm American and I'm American champ and I'm gonna do this. You're gonna end up on the floor in a heap, is what you're gonna do. Waste my fucking money as well. Bum having ass dude. But listen, like I was saying, the fight. And that's that's the sad thing. You see, the fight is actually intriguing. I'm not sure why it's intriguing. I want to see Dillian laid out. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm being blinded by my lust to see Dillian spark out again. Yeah, but again, like I said, it's a double-edged sword for me, because yeah, he'll get laid out again, but in the day, he got $5 million for it, so it's one of them ones. I actually do see the fight happening, to be quite honest with you. I think Dillian's delusional enough. And loves money enough to go in there and get knocked out by Dubois. And who knows? I mean, let's be real now. I'll be fair. If Dillian does beat Dubois, he's back in the conversation as such. As much as I don't rate Dubois, he's one-dimensional, and I haven't really seen. Yeah, he keeps knocking over bums, but what I said after the fight, I said, if Trevor Bryan's a bum, Dubois will knock him out. But we already know Dubois is the bum slayer. He's a great bum slayer, but at the top, though, that's the problem, you see. Again, in 2022, boxing's full of bums. So that's another thing. That's why people like Dubois can excel, because it's full of bums. Even at the top level, I mean, AJ's allegedly at the top, and Dubois and AJ's a 50-50 fight. And that's what I'm saying. There is no real 1980s or 1990s fighters who can, for example, I reckon someone like Burt Cooper would deal with, even Mitch Green, to be honest. Mitch Green, Burt Cooper, they would deal with Dubois. Because, I mean, for example, look at Kevin Kingpin Johnson took Dubois the distance, and Kingpin Johnson was a knockoff 1980s fighter, but he knew he had that cuteness about him. Even though he had no training and no ambition, he knew how to get into a fight, and he had that ruggedness, that old schoolness about him. And he was the knockoff version. He's still 2005 kind of stuff. The old 90s fighters would have mauled Dubois, in my opinion, because these fighters today, they're stiff, got no inside game, and they get hit once and they want a way out. No heart, no real skills, no real ambition either. Yeah. They're good when they're winning. This generation of fighters are on-top fighters, even at the very top level. Even people like Canelo, people like AJ, they're great when they're winning. The minute there's some adversity, they don't want to know. Not interested. They want to win easy and lose easy. No one's trying to dig deep. And anyone who has the smarts and the kind of the cuteness to survive the early onslaught is going to give Dubois problems. Can Dillian do that? I mean, he couldn't hold one shot from Fury as such. Yeah, so it's not like maybe at one time people could have said, yeah, well, Dillian's. In fact, before the Fury fight, the Dillian White fans, yeah, would have told you that Dillian's a 1980s fighter. He's got that he knows how to mix it up and get gritty kind of thing. That's what the narrative would have been before that. In fact, that's what the narrative was before the fight. After the fight, we now know that's not the case. Yeah, he's not a gritty 1990s fighter who can get in there and give it the cross arm defense. This one here, look. but I'm pretty sure that's the one. Burt Cooper was rocking like this, just moshing forward with his hands just crossed over his face, leaving his whole body open. Honestly, and that was these guys were just gritty. You could do that. You could put your hands in some unconventional position and just start wading forward. Yeah, no regard, just giving the body up for free because they knew, or they were prepared. Take my body. Yeah, do whatever you want to my body. I'm coming forward, and that's what he did. Burt Cooper versus Holyfield, that cross-arm defense and just mosh forward. These guys don't have that in them. These guys, they're stiff, no chin, no heart. That's the end of it. That's the start and end of it, man. But yeah, as far as the battle of the no heart, no chin dudes go, Dillian's up there. Yeah, Dillian and Dubois. Outside of my idealism about wanting to be back in the 90s or whatever, or have some quality. I'm not nostalgic about the year. I'm nostalgic about the skills. Yeah, if trust me, there was a whole bunch of guys who had moved on and got better from the 90s. I'd love nothing more than to talk about them, but where do we see them? Where do you see anyone with old school skills in the heavyweight division? You don't. That's God's honest truth. There's no one. Fury, to some extent. Fury looks a lot better because of the competition. If anyone's throwback, it'd be Fury, but still, that's questionable. It's easy to look old school and throwback when you're in there with a bunch of heartless, pumped up weightlifting. You know what I mean? Goobers. Yeah? That makes Fury look like he's the greatest of all time because of his competition. Anyway, this fight, this fight sums up how I feel about boxing in general at the moment. Yeah, I'll watch it, but what does it mean? And the scary thing is, no, I'm not really bothered about fights meaning something, like being for a real belt or leading somewhere like undisputed. But we don't even get good fights anymore. I'm not even sure we're gonna get at one point I might have told you, well, yes, doesn't the fight Dubois versus Dillian White don't mean much, but we know both men are gonna refuse to lose. We know both men are gonna wanna be prepared to die to win. Dubois, if he gets popped in the eye, he'll want a way out. That's what it is. Dillian, he don't have the infrastructure to do much. If he gets clipped, he's gonna go cold out. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, he'll talk. Yeah, and the worst thing is about Dillian, yeah, these days he might not even talk a good game. Before I'd say, oh well, at least he's gonna talk it up. At least there'll be some good drama in the pre-fight. Oops. Dillian won't say nothing. That's the thing about if Dillian does work with Frank Warren, for all we know, he's gonna pull up. Oh, I'm not speaking again. And I'm not being funny. Dubois can't carry a promotion, can he? So we get no build-up. The fight happens. Dillian White gets chinned in one shot, having not done anything for a few rounds, or Dubois finds himself in a fight and wants a way out. That's and by the way, both men are getting paid multiple millions. I mean, every time I honestly, I can feel deep inside me there's a hope saying things like, oh, but why be? On paper it should be a great fight. Yeah, on paper it should. But then that reality is based on the recent history, all these kind of ones. I mean, again, perfect example, Dubois versus Joyce. That was supposed to be, and yeah, from Joyce's point, Joyce did what he was supposed to do, but imagine, I mean, that fight is supposed to be a big barn burner. What happened? Dubois came out, threw a few hard shots, and rolled over. You understand? So, for me, it's the same thing with Dillian versus Dubois. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. Maybe Dillian's going to go in there and now have something to prove. I'll believe it when I see it. But yeah, as far as the sport of boxing goes, since we've got to have something on, this'll do, I guess. Am I being too idealistic? I don't know. Trust me, after the fight we'll find out. But I've got a hunch that, and I think if Dillian can't get there, if AJ beats Usyk, then forget about it. Well, sorry, if AJ beats Usyk, then 100% Dillian will fight Dubois. Then again, he can make millions fighting Joe Joyce. Although, yeah, he can fight millions. Sorry, he can fight millions. He can make millions. Sorry, fighting Joe Parker. Is Dillian White going to risk going in there with Dubois when he can make probably a similar amount or just a bit less fighting Joseph Parker? I don't think so. And again, that's another problem with the sport. I don't know where this money comes from, and that's why I'm convinced. Every day that goes by, I'm convinced. Especially when we start seeing Floyd Mayweather doing all these what do they call them, exhibitions. Where's all this money coming from? How are people paying Floyd 10 mil to do, it's weird. Where's all the money coming from? I'm more and more convinced, yeah, that the revenues don't add up. For example, we just saw Dubois versus Bryan. The stadium was empty. It wasn't on pay-per-view, but yet Dubois getting paid 2 mil, Bryan getting paid 2 mil. Where's all the money coming from? And that's why I believe there is a lot of laundering, bottom line. The numbers really have rarely added up when you actually look at the maths. So anyway, yeah, let's see what happens. But like I said, if AJ beats Usyk, well, yeah, like I said, Dillian probably gonna end up fighting Parker for millions. And that's how you just know the whole system is completely corrupt and broken. There should be no way. I mean, genuinely, as bad as Dubois and Dillian does have some questions. I can feel the excitement inside myself. But Dillian versus Joseph Parker. Oh my God. I guess people will say, well, YB, what about the first one? Listen, Parker, he ain't going to want to go there again. Parker's another textbook 2022 fighter. He can win when it's nice and easy. He ain't trying to dig in. He's not trying to dig in. He's not trying to have a hard fight. Yeah, he's not. I mean, that's been the case. When Parker fought AJ, he didn't want a hard fight. He talked a good game. Oh, AJ, he chinned us and all that kind of stuff. Got in there, didn't do nothing. Yeah, and Dillian and Parker have only got softer. You only get more moist as you get older. People don't get, in the main, people don't get more gully as they get older. Like I said, Dillian 10 years ago probably would have had a good go on Fury. Now, I'll turn up, I'll turn southpaw and I'll jump on the floor. Yeah? And I'll do it, put up, and in between, I'll throw a few big swinging hook shots that we're never going to land. That's the state of heavyweight boxing right now, 100%. But let's see what plays out. One thing I will say though, if Dillian does take the Dubois fight, I'll give him credit. Well, well, yeah, I'll give him credit because But that's the problem, you see. Every time I go to give credit, I think, well, what are we giving credit for? We're giving credit for a man. These guys spar anyway. So if you're going to turn up and just jump on the floor, then what are we giving credit for? Because honestly, if someone said to me, YB, I'm going to pay you 200 or I'm going to pay you 4 mil to fight Dubois, I'd fight Dubois and jump on the floor. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like one of them ones. What are we giving credit for now? I don't really understand it. Because who wouldn't? I mean, all the people listening to this, yeah, how many of you wouldn't fight Dubois for 4 million? We all would. We'd all jump in there, have a go and jump on the floor. So yes, I don't give credit. Where I'd give credit is if Dillian fights Dubois and the finances aren't maxed out. That's when you give credit. When you hear Dillian say things like, you know what, I've been smoked by Fury and I need to redeem myself. Let me be the B-side against Dubois. Because really, I think Dillian is the B-side. As far as the sport goes, now, like I said, from marketing points of view, then yeah, he's not the B-side, is he? But in the ring, right now, Dubois the A-side in that fight. Because at all the big fights, Dillian's lost them. Yeah, the Parker fight wasn't a big fight, and even then he pretty much lost it anyway. It was a close fight. What big fights has Dillian won? Lost against Fury, lost against AJ. I guess you can say Dubois lost against Joyce. But anyway, man, let's see what happens. No doubt.